What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the X-Transbots Jocund, their version of a masterpiece groove. So this is the second in their series of Protectobots to make up Defensor. I did take a look at Fuzz. I wasn't planning to buy this set, but thankfully I have Mr. G. Tony who sends me these bots to take a look at. So I really appreciate that. Thank you again for sending this for review. He is the second one. He does come with a collector's card here. Says Jocund, nice picture there, and you got his tech specs. It's got some low tech specs, and then of course his bio if you want to read that. This particular version comes with this X-Transbots preview book. I don't normally show the instruction books or anything, but this one has some cool images. So you've got all their upcoming figures. This one's actually coming very soon. Their version of Perceptor Jansen. You've got the Omnibots in here. Those look nice. Those are coming later this year. You've got their version of Autobot Spike. You've got their Prosecutor, their Runabout Runamuck, their Deathsaurus, their Punch Counterpunch figure. Looks great. And there's two versions of him, Japanese and English. And then their version of Springer, Virtus, which we've been waiting for a while. And then more images of Abaddon, their version of Galvatron. So nice little preview book. Nothing we haven't seen before, but it is nice that they included that just for fans of X-Transbots so you can see that. Let's get on to this. So got some nice paint here, and I don't know if my lights are maybe reflecting a little too much, but this is a kind of metallic brown or a goldish brown. You got the baby blue here on the arms, and then you got a beige color for the rest of the body. On the hands, the legs, the backpack here, which, by the way, this configures two different ways. So I have it configured this way. I'll show you the other way. But looks good overall. He does come with some accessories. So, of course, you get his blasters here. And these are meant to peg into the sides of the legs. You can see there's a little tab right there. And you can go ahead and get this pegged onto there. And same for this side. And those fit nicely. He also comes with his blaster here, painted in this metallic silver. And this is a little bit tight to get in the hand, but you can get it. You just kind of have to force it a little bit in there. You know, I was worried about breaking the thumb here, but it seems like it fits okay. Let's see. Before I say that. Okay, there we go. It is a tight fit. But there you go. You can be holding that gun. And then lastly, you get some alternate heads. Now, I want to talk about the head before I change them out, but here's the head that's on there. You can get up and down, but the way it's designed, it just pops right off. So it's on this mushroom peg, basically. And the design is meant to allow you to take it off, but unfortunately, it doesn't stay on well either. But here are the heads. So you got, this one's like the wider nose with kind of a smaller chin. This one you have a kind of a wider chin with a smaller nose. And he's sort of angry or just kind of snarling there. And then you got this one with sort of a really wide nose and a thinner mouth. So you can kind of choose what you like. Me personally, I think the stock face looks best. We'll just leave this on there. But they all just plug right in like that. But if you try to turn it, it does pop off, and that is unfortunate here. So, but I didn't want to show you can change those heads out. Speaking of moving the head, let's talk about the articulation on this guy. So the head rotates just a little bit before it pops off, so you can't really get much more than that. When I first got it, it popped off right away. So some of the heads rotate a little bit more, some of them don't. Get up to there, down to there. Rotates all the way around on this joint here. You have a butterfly joint that comes in and out, so that's nice. You have a rotation at the bicep. Single dojo elbow gets a little bit past 90 degrees. You have a rotation at the wrist. Single pin for the hands with the pointer finger separate, so you can get it pointing, but it is, of course, curled at the end. You have a rotation at the waist. You have an ab crunch. It's a little bit on the loose side, but there is a screw here. You can tighten that screw. Unfortunately, it will loosen up again over time, but you can tighten this up a little bit. You have a leg rotation up to there on friction, back to here on friction, out to the side on friction. Mine is fine. The tightness is just fine. It's not overly tight or not under tightened. But I would imagine over time, because this is a friction joint, it might get loose. But right now it is nice and tight. Rotation at the thigh. You have a single jointed knee. Now this is actually interesting. So the way they've done it, they actually move this piece out of the way. So that's smart to allow the knee to bend. But it just gets just under 90 degrees with that piece transformed and moved out of the way. The ankle, a little bit loose on my copy. You can tighten again. It's another one of those. You can tighten the screw, but it does loosen over time because the direction of the screw and the rotation of this actually unscrews it a little bit. But I do have a little bit of a loose ankle here. It does have a toe tilt here down and up and a heel tilt back and forth. No back and forth on this, but it does go in and out on a rocker. For size comparison, there it is next to the MP44 Optimus Prime. Looks good, fits in with all the typical Carbot size figures. Now, before we get this guy transformed into his vehicle mode, I want to show you the alternate transformation for this. So it does come actually in a different configuration in the box. So if you pull down on this, the wheels will go downwards. So you have a little bit of space. You're going to unpeg this piston or whatever it is from the side. Now you to push this upwards, rotate the wheel, or I guess the wheel well. Push this up and then push this up. So this collapses inside and then it pushes up, and you should see this piston kind of stick up from the top. All right. Then go ahead and take the tire or the wheel. That's going to unpeg from here. You can see there's 2 peg points right inside there. And that's going to allow you to take all this and collapse that down until this sits basically flat. Now this should go all the way up. Let's see if we got that in. Yep. And this is the other configuration you can have. You can have basically the wheel kind of folded up flat and the 2 pylons or the 2, whatever you want to call them, the cylinders or the pistons sticking up from the top. So that is an option if you prefer it that way. Me personally, I like the other look, but I just wanted to show you that. So go ahead and get the guns and set those aside. We'll attach those back on a little bit later. Same for the handgun. Go ahead and take that out of his hand. And that one's a little tricky. And we're going to start off with the arms. So we're going to rotate the arms so that you have this on the inside. And then we're going to collapse the arm. This doesn't I'm always a little worried about it, but it does seem to go down all the way. And it should, and the head fell off. And this is one of the issues with this transformation, is the head likes to pop off, and later on you actually have to hold the head so it doesn't pop off on you, but that it does have that issue. All right, so you should have the arm looking something like that. Same on this side, rotate so you get the circle part on the inside. I like to move that out of the way, and that helps me collapse this down, and it should snap into place. Okay? So you can just lift up those arms for now. We're going to open up these panels here on the side. Actually open up this neck panel here and then open up these panels. These panels are actually pegged in right here. So that little tab you see, that's what's holding this. Open up the top of his head here, and you might have to hold it so it doesn't go flying. And get that kind of flat. We're going to take all of this and open that all back up. So pull that back down, push this, or actually don't push that down yet. Fold this up, rotate this, push this in, pull out this axle, and then get this plugged in right here. You can see there's 2 little peg points there to get that plugged in. And that's another reason I like just leaving it with this look, because it's fine. You know, I don't need it to be compacted that much. All right. You're going to take this backpack and it's going to unpeg from the back here. So that's pegged in right back here. So unpeg that. That's going to get a little bit of room. So now that we have that, we're going to rotate this all the way around. You can see that's going to end up being the front of the motorcycle. Go ahead and take the glass. That's going to fold downwards. And let's take care of this head now. So these panels should be folded around, so the head should look something like that, basically flat, and then these panels kind of around it. All right. So we'll take care of this stuff here. Next, take these panels, fold those up and out of the way. Allow you to take this side panel out and open these up. And you can see that's going to make the sides of the motorcycles, the engine or the motor. All right. Now we'll take care of kind of this front part here. And this is probably the trickier part of the entire thing. So you want to take the arms and position them like this. And you can see there's a slot right there and a tab right here. And there's a slot, tab right there and a slot right here. So that all has to go in together. And it's kind of tricky. Honestly, it just doesn't, it's not smooth or fluid. You just have to get it all kind of going. I don't love the way it works, unfortunately. And I haven't seen a smoother way to do it. So I'm just going to do it the best I can. Get that in. Get this pegged in here. And we'll do this at the end. So as long as you get that tab in and the hand down there. Oh, and we have the hand backwards. Hand should be rotated. So you've got the flat side on the outside like that. So let's do that on this one before we get this in there. Okay, but basically we do the same thing on this side, so go ahead and get this pegged in there. And again, it's not very smooth. It doesn't feel smooth, doesn't work smoothly. All right, get that pegged in, make sure you get that part right there. And now we can take this top part and move that forward and get that pegged in. I do worry over time that it is going to scratch this nice blue paint here, but so far it hasn't, so I guess I'll push the I believe button and maybe it's okay. Alright, now that we've done that, we can take these panels. This is going to close and just fit right in there. You can see how it all lined up and looks nice. It's a really cool little design. Okay, and this one already kind of closed on its own. You can fold these little foot holds down, so it should look like that. Right, so that's kind of the hard part. Now we'll get to the easy part, or easier part. So we're going to take these legs and take care of those. Go ahead and pull out on this panel here. That's going to give you this little long filler piece there. You push that back in. Same here. Pull that out, fold that up, and then push that back in and tab it in. Take the wheel here, so this is on a spring-loaded tab mechanism, so pull it out, rotate it down, and then it's going to tab back in. So let me see if I can show this very clearly. So there's actually another tab point, so you want to keep going until you hit this tab point right here, and then push that back in. So you kind of have the tail light facing backwards. All right, so I'll show you again on this side. Pull it out on the spring-loaded mechanism, rotate it until you get it to the right spot, and then push it back in. Okay. Next, we'll take care of this back of, I guess, what do they call it? The little storage bin here. So this is going to actually, let's take care of the foot first. Rotate the toe inwards, then rotate the foot inwards. That should fold in like that. Take this panel here, and this is going to fold, let's see, up. Oh, you had to unpeg it from here first. And this is going to fold up. Now we'll take this entire thing, actually open this up, take this entire thing and fold that to the front. You can kind of see how that's going to make the top of it. All right, so same thing on this side, open this up, come to the bottom here, unpeg this. That's going to allow you to take this entire panel, rotate that up. Oh, before we do that, take the toe, fold that in. And now we can fold this up, pull that down, rotate this around, and that's going to make the two sides of the back of the motorcycle. All right, in order to get this back of the motorcycle together, you're going to open up here, undo this tab right there. That'll allow you to pull apart these two hips, and it is a little bit tight. Go ahead and take that tab and push that back in. That'll just store it inside there. Now we can line everything up, so make sure you have these wheels. First of all, they got to be pushed in to the sides. Next, you want to make sure you have these two tabs horizontal and two vertical. And that way these wheels can fit together. And then we're going to line up all these tabs and put this together. So it can be a little bit tricky. You got to make sure you got everything lined up or it won't go together. So go ahead and push that together. Give it a little push down here. And just be careful, these are a little bit fragile, so I would push up here, not down here. Give that wheel a nice push. You want to squeeze it. I would even rotate it and make sure it's squeezed together. And up here as well, make sure that's all squeezed together. And this top part actually does tab together. All right. Now we can take this entire back piece and push it forward on these. All right. So I should go all the way down to here. Yeah, right about there. And now we are going to plug, here, we can get it all the way. So make sure you get that pushed all the way down. Now we're going to take these two pieces and those are going to tab in right here. So just push those down and get those tabbed in. So I should have that. Take these pieces here, those are going to fold backwards and out, and then peg in. You can see there's a peg point right there. So get this pegged into the side. Same on this side, push this in, and get this pegged in on the side. And then push that seat part down, that's the back of the seat. If the wheel went down, go ahead and fix that. Push the handlebars back, so in driving position basically. Something like that. All right, and the final step here, come to the bottom, and there's a little tab right here. You're going to push on that. That's going to bring forward these little pipes, and those are going to plug right in to the back of this engine piece here. So same on this side, push that forward, and they can be a little tight, but alignment may not be perfect, so do your best to line those up and get that pegged in. There we go. There we have Jocund in his vehicle mode. Really cool looking bike. Got some nice paint detail, yellow up here, black stripe there, yellow turn signal. You got the sheriff star there, 80, and there's the engine. I'm not sure if that means something. Maybe that's the number of the bike. But you've got that nice exhaust detail here. Police, it says right there. Here's the back. You got some red lights here, and in the inside. Overall, very nicely detailed. You got the, I guess you got a turn or a brake light there. Overall, very nice looking bike. Now, one of the issues with this is the front wheel doesn't lock in place. It just kind of floats. So when you put it down, it just flops. So what it's really sitting on is these two pieces right here. Ends up resting on that. So when you go to roll it, it doesn't really roll. It kind of just falls apart. The back wheel does roll, but as soon as you try to put some weight on the front wheel, it just kind of flops around because it rotates this way and it rotates this way. Now the wheel actually does rotate. They worked in a working steering wheel, and there's some detail. I mean, you can see you got a speedometer and tachometer. I mean, they put some nice detail in there. It's just unfortunate that that front wheel doesn't lock. And it's possible, maybe I've got something wrong, but it really doesn't look like it locks in any way, and I kind of wish it did. But overall, very, very nice looking bike. And for finishing touches, we can take these guns, and these are going to mount right here. They're a little bit on the loose side, so they sit very loosely, but let's see, doesn't matter which side. Looks like it fits better that way, I don't know. Whichever way you want to put it, I think this is probably the correct way. And for size comparison, there it is next to the MP10 Optimus Prime and the X-Transbots Fuzz, their version of Streetwise. And obviously, the scale doesn't make any sense, but it never was going to, because this motorcycle has to become a limb for a combiner bot. So if they made it the size in scale as a motorcycle, it would be too small. So I'm okay with this. I have to push the I believe button because it's going to become a limb in the combiner mode. But there you go if you're interested in scale. So final thoughts on the X-Transbots Jocund. Let's start with the positives. I think the paint job is really well done. The baby blue with the goldish brown and the beige, all the little accents, the police, the red, the silvers, the black stripes, all of that stands out, especially in the motorcycle mode, and looks great. I think the motorcycle is really professionally and well done. The accessories are also well done. I like the sculpt and the paint on the handgun. These guns look great. The head sculpts, although I don't love all of the face sculpts and the head sculpts, it's nice that they give you 4 different ones to choose from. So if you don't like one, you can switch it out and you can find one that you do like. So that's a good option. They also gave him a lot of nice articulation. You got the butterfly joints here on the shoulders. You got the ab crunch here. You got the waist rotation. All that extra articulation adds to the posability and fun factor. However, that posability also detracts from this figure because there are some loose joints and tolerances. So I have a loose joint here at the ab crunch, and I did try to tighten that screw. Unfortunately, it doesn't really help. I do have this loose here, and while it doesn't matter too much in the robot mode, in vehicle mode, the pressure is put here, and so this ends up moving this way, or it ends up moving this way. I wish they had put a locking pin or a mechanism to lock this in place so it doesn't keep moving around. Like I mentioned, in robot mode it doesn't matter as much, but in the vehicle mode it definitely causes a little bit of issue on that front tire. I also have some loose pins and joints here and there. You know, my heels are loose, my tilt is loose. Now that is on a screw and I have tightened it, but it seems to loosen over time. Now there is some nice materials here. You got nice die cast here in the thighs, nice die cast here in the legs and in the chest. But even with those materials, I do feel some of those tolerances really take away from the fun of this. And I just don't love feeling a floppy bot. So I kind of feel a little bit what I felt with this X-Transbots Fuzz. Looks great in vehicle mode, looks great in robot mode, but I don't know about the longevity based on the materials and based on the pin joints they're using. I'm not sure if these are going to last multiple transformations, especially in combined mode. That's where I worry the most. Now, the other thing that kind of bothers me is this head just pops right off. That is it seems like a design mistake, right? You know, it should be able to rotate without popping off the joint, you know, and it's kind of silly. I don't know why they did that. It's a simple fix. I mean, just change the mold or the sculpt of the back of the head, but for whatever reason they made it and it just pops off. So I don't love that either. So little things like that keep me from enjoying this to the fullest. I do think it's the best version of Groove we've ever gotten in terms of masterpiece. It's probably the only one we've gotten, but it really is a good looking Groove in both the robot and vehicle mode, but there are some things that hold me back from fully enjoying it. So you got to take those into consideration. If you're the kind of person that likes to transform your bots over and over, this may not be the right one for you. You may want to wait for the MMC. But if you just want to put this on display and you're not planning to transform it and switch it between modes, then this is probably going to fit your bill. So that's really it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.